how does it feel to be the most sought after ad filmmaker in the whole of the country for something like 25 years?
I personally don't think, thank you, but not the sought after filmmaker in the country. There are so many beautiful, intelligent filmmakers who's doing interesting work across. പക്ഷേ എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്ന fortunate and very happy that I'm still hanging on to the industry for last more than 25 years. And still, I think, excited to do some really good brands, which is coming my way. Apo, happy to be here, and I'm still learning.
Great. I think humility was always a part of your personality. But what I've heard the market say consistently is that Varma kittilla, Varma kittan bhayangara buddhimuttana, Varmakku samayamilla, and then followed by a simple question, budget ഒക്കെ ഉണ്ടല്ലോ അല്ലേ? So, speaking of time, it's very interesting that in the kind of work that you do, time is perhaps a casualty for you. But looking at the kind of films that you make, again, time is perhaps a casualty. So what is the shortest story that you have said using film?
Interesting, because I think നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യുന്ന advertising basically നമ്മൾ ശുദ്ധ മലയാളത്തിൽ പറഞ്ഞ എന്താണ് വിളംബര സിനിമകളോ എന്താണ് ഓടവാ നമ്മൾ ഇന്നൊരു സാധനം വാങ്ങിക്കൂ, വളരെ നല്ലതാണ്, ബ്യൂട്ടിഫുള്ളാണ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നൊരു സ്പേസിൽ നമുക്ക് എത്ര എൻഗേജിങ് ആയിട്ട് ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റിംഗ് ആയിട്ടൊരു കഥ പറയാം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഡെഫിനറ്റ്ലി ഐ ഓൾവേസ് തോട്ട് വാസ് എൻ ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റിംഗ് സ്കിൽ, ബിക്കോസ് ഗിവൻ ടൈം ഇസ് വെരി ലെസ്. നോർമലി നമുക്കൊരു 60 സെക്കൻഡ് 45 സെക്കൻഡ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു 30 സെക്കൻഡ്, അതിനുള്ളിൽ നമ്മൾ വെറുതെ ഒരു കാര്യം പറയുന്നതിനെക്കാട്ടിലും ആ പറയുന്നത് ഇഫ് യു ബ്ലെൻഡ് ഇൻ വിത്ത് എൻ ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റിംഗ് സ്റ്റോറി ലൈൻ, ഐ തിങ്ക് ദാറ്റ് ഓൾവേസ് വർക്ക്ഡ് ഫോർ മീ. പക്ഷേ സമയപരിമിതി, ഒബ്വിയസ്ലി ഇറ്റ്സ് എ വെരി എക്സ്പെൻസീവ് മീഡിയം. കാര്യം നമ്മൾ ഓഫ് കോഴ്സ് TV എയറിംഗ് ഇസ് വെരി എക്സ്പെൻസീവ്, ഇറ്റ്സ് ഓൾവേസ് ബിക്കമിങ് എക്സ്പെൻസീവ്. സോ ഡ്യൂറേഷൻ കുറഞ്ഞു വരും. പക്ഷേ ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ ദ മോസ്റ്റ് എക്സൈറ്റിംഗ് തിങ് ഇസ് ജസ്റ്റ് ഫ്യൂ ഇയേഴ്സ്, ഐ തിങ്ക് 1 or 2 3 years ബാക്ക് ഐ ഗോട്ട് എൻ ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റിംഗ് ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റി ഫ്രം ഫേസ്ബുക്ക്. ബിക്കോസ് ഫേസ്ബുക്കിന് ഒരു പുതിയൊരു പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോം ഉണ്ടാവുന്നു ടു അഡ്വർടൈസ്. അപ്പം വളരെ കുറഞ്ഞ സമയത്തിൽ വീൽ ഹാവ് ടു കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേറ്റ്. അപ്പം ഞാൻ അതൊരു ചാലഞ്ചായിട്ട് എടുത്തു. അപ്പം ആ പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോമിൽ നമുക്ക് കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാവുന്ന സമയം 10 സെക്കൻഡാണ്. ആ 10 സെക്കൻഡിൽ 3 സെക്കൻഡെങ്കിലും ഫേസ്ബുക്ക് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ തം സ്റ്റോപ്പേഴ്സ് എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ഒരു ലോഗോ വരും. അപ്പോൾ എനിക്ക് പറയാനുള്ള സമയം വീണ്ടും 7 സെക്കൻഡേ ഉള്ളൂ. ആൻഡ് ഐ തോട്ട് ദാറ്റ് വാസ് എൻ ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റിംഗ് പ്രോസസ് ഫോർ മീ ടു അണ്ടർസ്റ്റാൻഡ് വിൽ ഐ ബി ഏബിൾ ടു കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേറ്റ് എ സ്റ്റോറി. ഈ പറയുന്ന അതിലും സ്റ്റോറി ഉണ്ടായാൽ നന്നായേനെ. അപ്പം ഞാൻ അങ്ങനെ ഒരു എക്സ്പെരിമെൻ്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് നമുക്ക് സമയപരിമിതിയുണ്ട്, പറ്റാവുന്നിടത്തോളം ഞാൻ എക്സാമ്പിൾസ് വെച്ച് കാണിക്കാൻ ശ്രമിക്കാം. ഐ ഷോ യു. ഞാൻ അന്ന് ആ ക്യാമ്പയിൻ ഫേസ്ബുക്ക് തം സ്റ്റോപ്പേഴ്സിന് ചെയ്ത് മോസ്റ്റ്ലി അറൌണ്ട് 20 ഫിലിംസ്. അതിൽ ഞാൻ ഒരു 1 or 2 പ്ലേ ചെയ്യാം. 7 സെക്കൻഡേ ഉള്ളൂ അതിൽ കഥ. ആൻഡ് ദെൻ ലാൻഡിങ് വിത്ത് ദ തിങ്. ഐ ജസ്റ്റ് പ്ലേ ജസ്റ്റ് ടു ഗെറ്റ് എൻ ഐഡിയ ദാറ്റ് വാട്ട് ഐ ട്രൈഡ് വിൽ ഐ ബി ഏബിൾ ടു കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേറ്റ് in 7 seconds. So can we just please play the... സോ വാട്ട് ഐ എം സേയിങ് ഇസ്, ഇത് ഒരു 7 സെക്കൻഡ് നമുക്ക് വേണമെങ്കിൽ ഒരു പ്രോഡക്റ്റ് കാണിച്ചിട്ട് മുമ്പോട്ട് പോകാം. പക്ഷേ നമ്മൾ എവിടെയെങ്കിലും ഒരു ഇമോഷൻ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ എവിടെയെങ്കിലും നമ്മൾ ഇഫ് യു ടച്ച് യുവർ ഹാർട്ട്, ഐ തിങ്ക് യു വിൽ ഓൾവേസ് റിമെമ്പർ. ആൻഡ് ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് വാട്ട് ഐ ഓൾവേസ് ട്രൈ ടു ഡു വിത്ത് കമേഴ്ഷ്യൽസ്, വിച്ച് ഇസ് വെരി ഡിഫിക്കൽട്ട്, ബട്ട് ഐ എം സ്റ്റിൽ ലേണിംഗ്. ഐ എം ജസ്റ്റ് ട്രൈങ് ടു sharpen my skills every time when I get an opportunity.
speaking of time again, there is a contradiction of sorts today that's happening because the length of feature films are increasing, binge watching is increasing, and at the same time, all of us somehow believe that we have the attention span of only a fly. In the sense that if the film is more than 2 minutes, nobody is going to watch. If the film is more than 3 minutes, nobody is going to watch. So, what would you say if I said that it all depends on how you tell the story? And if you give a story the time that it needs to actually tell the story, people will watch.
I definitely think it's a myth because I think any story, interesting, if we can actually communicate, people will watch. As you said, we are binge watching some series. It's just hours together we are sitting and we are watching it. And our attention span, we keep moving. That is just purely because somewhere you're just not connecting with them. I think whether it's a 10-second campaign or a 5-hour movie, I think even today films are 3 parts and 4 parts and we are watching and it's all becoming successful. So it's just a myth. I think the core idea is to have a great idea. And then how you narrate a film or in any form, like whether it's documentary, commercials, I think narrative is very, very important and how you put it together. You got to engage audience. So I definitely think, because also I'll tell you an example. One film which I did a couple of years ago, that was for a plywood commercial. That was a 60-second which I did, and the same idea which has been borrowed and made a feature film, which is a full-length feature, which is the same idea, which has been borrowed, which is done by Lijo. So I'll show you the film first, and film everybody knows, the movie you know. I'll just, let me just play the film which I did.
ओए कितना कमजोर हो गया है?
मम्मी को बोलो ना मुझे बाहर नहीं देखने दे रही है।
बच्चा है, उसे छोड़ दो, बाहर देखने दो।
अजय आप चुप रहो जी, सुबह से कुछ नहीं खाया मेरे पुत्र ने।
नृत्यंग,
ओए
बस नृत्यंग।
क्या?
बैंडी नृत्यंग।
ओए ये कौन सी भाषा है?
मैं आ रहा हूँ, पुत्र रुक जा।
हीन फीड
यार இது இவன் பாட்டு போயிட்டு இருக்கான் லட்சுமி.
बेटा, कहाँ?
இவன் யாரு? पुत्र रुकना।
हीन टेबल।
बेटा ये क्या कर रहा है?
हीन टेबल। सावित्री, हीन लव।
ए सामी
ग्रीन plywood जन्म जन्म का साथी
ना मறுபடி உங்களை பார்த்துட்டேயா
सावित्री,
சாமி
सावित्री,
சாமி.
This film was done many years ago. I think Lijo did a fabulous job. It's just holding people for more than 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So time, it's just a myth. I think if you narrate a story very well in a beautiful, engaging manner, I think people will watch for sure.
Everyone sitting here who's seen your films will agree that you always talk to the heart. You always talk to the heart. None of your films talk to the head, mostly. It's primarily, it gets you. It really gets you. And in a world where words are dying because of overuse, in a world where words are becoming cliches, words are becoming weak, visuals are becoming weak and cliche, how do you manage to do this so consistently?
What I really try to do, in fact, is thank you. It's a quite exciting. നല്ലതാണ് ഇങ്ങനെ സുഖമുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങൾ കേൾക്കാൻ. എന്തായാലും sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. You try your best. The idea, I think ഞാൻ നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ, unless you don't touch people, people will never remember any kind of communication, and especially advertising. അതായത് ഒരു കാര്യം വിൽക്കുന്ന, ഒരു ഷൂസ് നല്ലതാണ്, ഒരു കാറ് നല്ലതാണ് എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ഒരു സമയത്ത് നമ്മൾ ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റിംഗ് ആയിട്ടൊരു ലെയേർഡ് കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേഷൻ വിത്ത് ദ റൈറ്റ് ബ്ലെൻഡ് ഓഫ് ദ പ്രോഡക്റ്റ് ആൻഡ് an interesting landing caption line, I think that always works. So I think Adine most important thing what I try to do is, when you get an idea, or when I have a script, what I try to do is I just, unclutter the storyline. For an example, there's a kind of game that you do, that wooden blocks, Jenga blocks, right? So basically what you do is you keep a structure, you keep one on top of other, and then you take the unwanted pieces out of it till the structure remains. Then it becomes very simple because it can still hold the structure. I think similar process, you sit with the script and namakku narrate cheyan endana nammal parayan poguna aa oru point, and I like to only explain one thing in my film and not a cluttered communication with too many layers in it. I try to convince my client and also my creative partners to just put it together in such a way that people are busy with 100 other things. So try to focus on one communication and try and build the emotion around it, so that you have a lot more time. A 30-second campaign can look more than 60 seconds sometimes if you actually narrate the emotion very well. And that's what I try to do most of the time. Just try to keep it one thing and try and find what emotion that I just need to work around it. And that's, I'm still trying, but sometimes you get it right, sometimes you just don't get it.
I think let's take a look at your British Airways film, something that was done very recently.
अरे जल्दी करो, बुलाओ सबको। अरे सही से बांध यार, बहुत ध्यान से, इसका तार का डब्बा टूट जाएगा यार। चलो चलो भाई जल्दी बैठो अंदर यार। लंदन तक ले जाएगी आपको, तू इसे एयरपोर्ट तक पहुंचा दे। गाड़ी खराब हो गई है।
This was, I think, hats off to even the entire British Airways marketing team. When you normally do a campaign, they all want to just see the interior of the plane, how comfortable the seats are. I think the similar kind of, comfort zone, nammal plane in the veliyile journey il konduvaran ശ്രമിച്ചു എന്നതുള്ളതാണ് എനിക്കിതിലുണ്ടായ ഏറ്റവും വലിയ എക്സൈറ്റ്മെൻറ്റ്. പിന്നെ ഞാൻ ഈ ഫിലിം ചെയ്യുന്നതിന് I think just 2 weeks back എനിക്ക് 3 മക്കളാണ്, അതിൽ ഒരാൾ പഠിക്കാൻ പോവുകയും ചെയ്തു. അപ്പോൾ ഇതിനകത്ത് കുറേ കാര്യങ്ങൾ എൻ്റെ ഇറ്റ് വാസ് ക്വൈറ്റ് ഐ വാസ് മൂവ്ഡ്. അപ്പോൾ അതും കൂടെ ഇതിൻ്റെ അകത്ത് ആക്ച്വലി കുറച്ച് ഇമോഷൻസ് ആഡ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. അതുകൊണ്ട് ബിക്കോസ് ആ മാനസികാവസ്ഥയിലായിരുന്നു ഞാൻ ഈ ഫിലിം ഷൂട്ട് ചെയ്തത്.
I think at this point, let's go back 15 years in time and look at something that you did for this state.
This is one of my favorite campaign ever because I got an opportunity to do a film which will be placed internationally and the state that I come from. And I always believe Namada Nadu, there's so much to talk about. And, thank you, Swarup. And, it is all his project and came to me. And I think we did around 8 to 9 months of pre-production work just to figure out what this film should be. And me and Hari in fact put the whole concept together. And we were just trying to put that much time because the amount of research Swarup and team has done for this campaign. Stories, number of stories, why people come back to Kerala, why they stay here, what the spiritual feeling they're getting. There's so many research material was given to me. And I said, I just വെറുതെ ഒരു film ചെയ്തിട്ട് കാര്യമില്ല. And it took around that much time to even, because first of all, it's saying your moment is waiting. You don't know how we felt. നമുക്ക് എന്താണ് സൈലൻസ് എന്ന് പോലും നമുക്ക് എക്സ്പ്ലെയിൻ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റാത്ത നമ്മൾ എങ്ങനെ ഫിലിം ചെയ്യും. So it took that much time, and I think also that trained me to do a lot of prep work before you start filming any film, which is very, very important. So thank you for giving me such a fabulous project, and I think we had a great time.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. We had an absolutely great time. It was fantastic. And I don't think I want to dwell on this because we clearly vested interest. But you spoke about the centrality of it. You spoke about taking one idea and working around it. You spoke about eliminating the clutter. You spoke about removing everything that is not wanted so that at the end of it, it comes shining through. So how much do you have to fight with your agencies, with your clients? Because increasingly we live in a very left-brained world, So how do you manage to push this through?
Yeah, it's always, in fact, sometimes it's very smooth because you are sometimes lucky enough to get the right marketing team who holds the brand. They understand, but sometimes it's very difficult. They just can't see the vision that what you're trying to put together. And it's very tough. So you try and explain. Initial days were even more difficult. Now they will agree in front of me, and then once I am out of the room, they might give a hard time to the agency. But I'll just still move on, but I can feel it. So what I do most of the time, I give them the right examples of successful campaign, and also sometimes put down as much detail that I can. ചില സമയത്ത് ഓവർ ഡീറ്റെയിലിങ്ങും പ്രശ്നമാണ്. കാര്യം നമ്മൾ വൈൽ വി ആർ മൂവിങ് ഫോർവേഡ് നമ്മൾ ഇംപ്രവൈസ് ചെയ്യും, നമ്മൾ പല കാര്യങ്ങൾ ചേഞ്ച് ചെയ്യും. അപ്പോൾ ചിലപ്പോൾ അത് ചോദ്യചിഹ്നമായി മാറാം. വി ഓൺലി ഇംപ്രവൈസ് ഫോർ എ ബെറ്റർ പ്രോജക്റ്റ്, ഫോർ എ ബെറ്റർ ഫിലിം. So it's very difficult, but I think somewhere people also can see excitement in you when you're narrating a story and what you really want to do with the brand. Most of the time, I think naturally namak effortless aayittu varuna excitement I think things go through. But very fortunate that some of my campaigns are out. Many a times beautiful films never come out because of one or two issues like this. Yeah, but it's difficult.
But it's interesting that you've managed to do it on a sustained basis for more than almost 3 decades. So let's look at a very, very old film that is still, I'm sure, one of everyone's favorite film.
Winding lanes this beautiful world.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you. I think that if I just start talking about this campaign, I think I need another 1 month. But this brand is all because of a great teamwork. And I can't take the credit. The marketing guys, the creative from Ogilvy, me and my team, I think it's just that. And just imagine, I can tell you one example. If you just, നമ്മൾ ടേബിളിൻ്റെ അപ്പുറത്തിരുന്ന് ആലോചിച്ച് നോക്കൂ, you are the guy who's spending the money and your brand is nothing. ചെറിയൊരു ബ്രാൻഡാണ്. ഇറ്റ്സ് കോൾഡ് ഹച്ച്. ആൻഡ് നമ്മൾ ഈ മാർക്കറ്റിൽ കയറുമ്പം ഏറ്റവും വലിയ അന്ന് ഭാരതി, എയർടെൽ became എയർടെൽ ടുഡേ. And most of the campaigns are all Sehwag and Mr. Bachchan and every single celebrity. And then you are launching a small brand. അപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ മീറ്റിങ്ങിൽ ഇരുന്നിട്ട് നമ്മൾ പറയാണ്, സേവാഗും ദ്രാവിഡും ഒന്നുമല്ല, your face of your brand is going to be a dog. And this is the face, which not even, at that time അത് ഒട്ടും ഫെമിലിയർ അല്ലായിരുന്നു. Can you imagine some marketing guys saying, ഇത് ഞാൻ പല സ്ഥലത്തും പറഞ്ഞ കാര്യമാണ്, എന്നാലും I think it's important because it's very difficult to find a marketing, a leader who can take calls, trust you, and take that risk. And that's the only way that you can build anything. And he said, okay, just why don't we try this? And it didn't have a celebrity. It had a very simple caption which was given to me. And this was my life in my childhood. Once my cousins all leave and I just walk around the entire property with a stick and behind a dog and dog behind me or whatever. And it's not a major story for anybody to understand. But I think that small brand became the best brand and people love the advertising we did. And I got associated with that particular campaign for 18 years. I don't think not in the country, worldwide, no director would have been associated with any brand for so long. And Vodafone is like my baby. And I have 4 children. And this is one of them. 18 years of my relationship, not anymore because the management has changed after VI. So a lot of stories. I think it's in a prime example that an engaging, simple film can move and people can remember. And it created a massive brand. People were happy to own Vodafone purely because of the communication we did. Yeah.
Absolutely. And let's look at one short film halfway through the journey. If that was the beginning, let's look at something halfway through.
The little things you do for me and nobody else make me feel good. The little things you do for me, making me smile when no one else could. That's why I like to sit next to you and hear your mad stories. I know they're not true, and I like that we share a secret or two together. The little things you do for me.
I think this is again a prime example of you can do a wonderful, communication just with a very simple story. It's just that she is so special and she is close. She's just given some extra chocolate. That's all the story is. But I still remember when this film came out, I don't know how much it aired in Kerala, but I think within the country it did very well for that entire Delight campaign. Yeah.
Varma, what I've always noticed is that your craft is out of this world. കാരണം നമ്മൾ പരസ്യമല്ല കാണുന്നത്. It's like watching a slice of life. You're not watching a model. You're watching somebody you know, that you connect with. Even when it comes to celebrities, it's a different trip that you do. So talk to us about the team that brings your vision to life, because it is not easy to do what you're doing on a sustained basis. Like I think it is the 4th time I'm saying it, but to get that magic to happen every time, because there were so many non-celebrity films that we looked at. In fact, I think you must have done about what, 1,000 something, right? 1,200 odd films. And picking this list itself was a huge task. Varma has different lists for different talks that he gives. And it took us a long time to say, okay, maybe we'll do this, maybe we'll do this, maybe we'll do that. And we left out a whole bunch of films that really speak to the heart, a whole bunch of them. So how do you do it? What is this casting magic?
I mean, ഇതൊക്കെ കേൾക്കാൻ നല്ല സുഖമുണ്ട്, പക്ഷേ ഞാൻ നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ സംടൈംസ് യു ഗെറ്റ് ഇറ്റ് റൈറ്റ്, ബട്ട് ഇൻറ്റൻഷൻ ഇസ് ഓൾവേസ് ദ സെയിം. നമ്മൾ കണക്ട് ചെയ്തേ പറ്റൂ എന്ത് സ്റ്റോറി. അത് പണ്ടും ഇപ്പം ഈവൻ മോർ ഡിഫിക്കൽട്ട് ബിക്കോസ് പീപ്പിൾ ആർ ഡിസ്ട്രാക്റ്റഡ് വിത്ത് സോ മെനി സോഷ്യൽ മീഡിയ ആൻഡ് സോ മച്ച് ഓഫ് ഡിസ്ട്രാക്ഷൻ. അപ്പം അങ്ങനത്തെ സ്റ്റേജിൽ നമ്മൾ സ്റ്റേജ് ചെയ്യാണ്, ഒരു സ്റ്റോറി സ്റ്റേജ് ചെയ്യുന്നു, അതും എന്തോ ഒരു കാര്യം വിൽക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി. സോ ഒരു പരസ്യചിത്രത്തിന് എത്രമാത്രം attention ഉണ്ടാവും. അപ്പം you'll have to work that much more to figure out an idea which will hit and emotionally will connect with people. So emotions also can be any kind of whatever. You got to figure out what you need to do, and that's what I try to do most of the time. And thankfully many times people across the board, decision makers, agree. And when they agree, actually good for them. And sometimes they don't agree and we move on. But I keep telling most of the time and with examples that this is what has worked. So yeah, try to keep it simple, and always you need to have an idea.
Next delivery, and he's got it.
Stavin krata bile bila amaletia merlucia bile bila en lor portamenta todo tutti via la sola sanina amicia strana amaletia stavin krata bile bila amaletia merlucia bile bila amaletia stavin krata bile bila amaletia merlucia bile bila amaletia stavin krata bile bila amaletia merlucia.
What?
Bile, bila. Bile, bila.
Both these films, yeah, I think again, the first one, iconic brand, very happy. And I was, quite thrilled to do a campaign for Apple because Steve Jobs being whatever, I think, design product, it's God. And when you do a campaign for Apple, it's another feeling. So that film, and also if you look at the second film, both the amount of work, pre-production, again, coming back to that, the Apple film, there's none of the phone shots are CG. Everything is real shot, and planning was done for 4 days with the exact camera and crew, and then we shot it. Like for the Fruity, kids didn't know where the cameras were. But ഞങ്ങൾ camera hide ചെയ്ത്, and we were doing some magic shows and some other thing to distract them, and they didn't know. And full day of the shoot ചെയ്ത് രാത്രി മുഴുവൻ best footage edit ചെയ്തിട്ട് next day I replaced with the adults. So ഇതൊന്നും planning ഇല്ലാതെ നടക്കില്ല. Coming back to the same point that unless you don't plan properly, you're not going to get, and the shoot becomes much more easier. And these are the two examples for that.
We are running out of time, so I've been asked to open up questions. But before I do that, I think I'd like to just to one or two films quickly. If we can, sound has always played a big role in your film, and certain films are centered around sound almost. So which is the one you would like to play? Which is the one you would like to play?
Sound, can play do
Indian Railways?
Huh?
Indian Railways?
Okay, yeah, Indian Railways.
रेलगाड़ी 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 छुक 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 धड़क धड़क लोहे की सड़क धड़क धड़क लोहे की सड़क कल कुक्कल मल्ली पुट्ट मामली पुट्ट मल्ली पुट्ट ओंगोल नाटी गोल ओंगोल गोरेगांव यहाँ से वहाँ से यहाँ से वहाँ से यहाँ छुक 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 छुक
This, in fact, we don't have much time, but I got to tell you, this is Indian Railways very proud, and we won can gold for this. But when you do a campaign, you can really push and just you can think, and you can really make it. And especially with the government clients, they were very open because they really didn't understand what we were talking about. This is a campaign between Piyush Pandey and me, and they said, yeah, okay, and this is the result. And we really pushed it, and eventually the output is wonderful. And again, another favorite film of mine, sound-wise especially. Yeah.
Varma, I'd love to screen the other films, but looking at the paucity of time, there's one last film that we see before we open it up for Q&A. And I'm saying this because I think Varma has very successfully used celebrities. Whether it is Shah Rukh Khan, whether in the Kerala context it's Fahad and Nazriya. I don't know how many of you have seen those films. We have it all here, but we've been asked to wrap up 10 minutes ahead of time. So
next car session, next year.
Yeah, next year. So let's take a look at the Shah Rukh Khan film.
This is my Dubai. Come with me.
So everyone is ready? Yeah.
Ready to serve and hi everyone. Video order this. You can kiss me. This is my Dubai. Be my guest.
Varma, if you could, in a minute, explain the unexpected here, how you made that slice of life happen, and then we'll move on to Q&A.
I think this is clear example of usage of celebrity beautifully. Because, of course, any campaign, when you add celebrity, it, of course, lot of eyes, lot of attention. But then everything looks the same, right? You have, certain names associated with different bands. Eventually, you don't know. It's damn confusing. So how to make use of a celebrity differently, whether even if you look at the Fruity film or even this one. This one, in fact, what a brilliant idea, what a brilliant line, which is written by a close friend, my brother, my mentor, everything. There's Haridas who's sitting over there. Raise your hands, Hari. And that's his idea, his line. And I love that line. He is the one who wrote many campaigns for me, and especially this one. Be my guest. What a beautiful line. So yeah, it's just try and use when you have an opportunity. I always try and use them differently, and they are also very excited and very happy with it.
And the fact that it was not planned. They were all there and they did not know that
all this is organic, nothing. I mean, it's just short reel. We planned, but no staged performance. Yeah.
I think we'll open it up for Q&A quickly.
You're a master craftsman in short format. Can we expect a long format from you? I mean, feature film?
I think that monkey is always there behind me for last very many years, because unless I don't do a long format, that's going to irritate. I think if everything happens, I mean, let's see. Maybe sometime this year. I'm not sure.
You can also knock the monkey off your shoulder because you're the king of short films.
So, yeah, let's try if everything goes well. I think, yeah, maybe this year.